On the bus, at the front of the cavalcade, of the presidential cavalcade, is President Abdel Fattah El-Sisi, together with top brass officials of the company, and they are on a tour of the diverse sections and departments of the plant, the medical as well as industrial gases factories, as well as the one producing ultra-hydrogen oxide. President Abdel Fattah El-Sisi has arrived at the site where he's going to ceremonially declare open the industrial complex. Having listened to a brief update on the capacity of the factory, of the plant, and the number of workers and sort of chemicals produced by the plant. Well, President Abdel Fattah El-Sisi has already unveiled a plaque declaring open, unveiled the curtain, drawn the curtain on a plaque declaring open and cutting open the ribbon, opening ribbon of the plant, together with young people seemingly working for the factory, or children of people working for the factory, to declare open the plant. And the commander, since it's run by a military company, the commander of the factory is introducing himself, as usually in the army, in the military, introducing himself to the president and giving a brief update. The colonel is giving a briefing. Lieutenant Colonel is introducing himself as a chemical engineer and giving a quick briefing to the president on the processes done by the factory, conducted by the factory. So, for example, he's referring to the control and command and control units of the factory, saying this is the place where the president is the command and control. According to the military jargon, the command and control unit of the factory, which controls all other units and all other subsidiaries of the factory. Air is being received through filters from turbine is being filtered through turbine filters, and then out of carbon dioxide and nitrogen dioxide, and being channeled into the relevant unit of the factory, which is going to produce to use of this oxygen in producing the required material or the required chemical. Purifying, having been purified, such as substances. Another, the commanding officer is saying that the electricity, another engineer in charge of electricity will be following up all the units and will be analyzing all inputs to the processing, to the industrial process.
وفي حالة عدم مطابقة العينة لدرجة النقاوة المطلوبة يتم التخلص منها آليا
Well, he's saying that the samples will be taken out of the some phases of the production of the production phase, to analyze how pure the air is, and if not pure, it will be disposed of. The gentleman, another officer, is the commanding officer in charge of operating the factory, and he's asked the president's permission in order to introduce to the president a briefing on all on the kind of equipment used by the factory, and he's giving a quick briefing on all equipment. Thermal operator, thermal exchanger, in order to get rid of, dispose of all humidity in the air before channeling or pumping the air into relevant production processes, to make sure that the air received from air, the oxygen received from the air is free, is absolutely free of humidity. Thus, then, it will be channeled into the required process. Any commands, Mr. President? The president is still on his tour of the factory and is listening, seemingly, to some more details on the production site by the company commander, the company chief, as well as the chief of the National Service Agency affiliated to the armed forces. Liquefied oxygen tanks are standing ready to provide liquefied oxygen drawn from these high tanks and carrying it to hospitals and other places. Seemingly another officer giving some more explanation to the president on the unit for producing liquefied gas, liquefied oxygen. Liquefied oxygen tank has with a capacity of 300,000 liters, as the phrase reads, written or blazoned on the mobile tank, the lorry mobile tank. The president is still inspecting.
أمام سيادتك يا فندم منطقة المرافق الصناعية اللي بتتكون من برج تبريد المياه.
Cooling tower. Your Excellency, you're looking now at the cooling tower of the factory, which has the mission of cooling down the heat produced, or thermal heat produced by the diverse industrial processes. Argon producing unit. This is the argon producing unit, the oxygen producing unit as well. And the engineer is giving to the president some chemical or highly technical details on how argon is being received by these tanks and loaded onto these lorry mounted tanks. Another officer in charge of this unit is giving a quick briefing to the president on the missions, on the operations done.
تمام يا فندم. رائد محمد صلاح عبد العظيم.
Major,
الغرفة بتاعكم في مصنع فوق.
an engineering officer at the rank of major is giving a briefing to the president on the command and control of the factory. Another command and control of another section of the factory. Well, he is saying that there are a number of monitors, of screens dotted along the operation room, operation theater, with each showing certain operations, certain activities done and shown by this screen or monitor. He said that this unit in grey is controlling gases and controlling the purity of gases pumped into. Desalinated water is being received here at this unit. Desalinated water is being received here by these cooling towers and the boilers, and then desalinated water is pumped into water boilers to heat them up to the, and we're asking your permission, your president, to give the signal for the factory to start operating. 3 or 4 university students taking part, seemingly children of the people in the factory or specialized students, have given the signal, the operation signal to the factory to start working by pressing a button. By pressing a button, they have already given, with the permission of the president, of course, to give the go-ahead signal to the factory to start operating. And we see now the chimney is starting to emit vapor. Thus say the factory has already started to operate. Captain and another engineering officer at the rank of a captain is giving a briefing on the unit, is in charge of the hydrogen, ultra hydrogen oxide. That's to say, this rare material which used to be imported before this unit has been built. He's saying that hydrogen is being pumped into this unit to be mixed, to be mingled with the certain chemical incentives, certain catalysts. That's to say, according to the chemical jargon used, certain chemical catalyst is being mingled with the hydrogen in these towers, in order, and by being mingled with these chemical catalysts, ultra hydrogen oxide is being produced at a concentration of 85%. So the ultra hydrogen oxide being produced at a chemical concentration of 85%, with unwanted materials in the substance only accounting for only 15%. Then it's being packed onto lorries. Thank you, Mr. President. Any commands, the orders? The President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi, escorted by top brass officials of the company, is walking around the facilities of the factory. Is walking around the facilities of the factory to inspect them and give the go-ahead signal to the factory to come on stream.
تمام يا فندم. رائد اسلام محمد رامي مدير وحده تعبئه منطقه فوق كده تزيد.
Now the president is listening to the briefing by an engineering officer at the rank of major. He is in charge of the packing facility. This packing facility is in charge of packing ultra hydrogen oxide into packs and mounting them on lorries. And we ask your permission, President, to press a button to give the signal to for the factory to operate. Packing is done automatically, and all packs are being screened by screening unit here to exclude and rule out any packed unit which does not answer to all the specifications. Any pack which does not answer, does not comply with the needed specifications for a packet is being ruled out by the screening unit. On a conveyor belt, we see units being handled by machines automatically. They collect the packs already filled with the ultra hydrogen oxide. Then the packed material are being wrapped up and carried to the platform, to the berth, either to the lorry which is going to be mounted on, or to the store where it's going to be stored for future use. And now the president is taking a group photo with senior staffers of the factory. The president right in the middle of a group photo. The president is being asked to take another group photo with another group who wanted to have another group photo with the president. The president is leaving the factory, is riding his cavalcade once more and leaving the factory. With all factory staff on hand to bid him farewell.
الخلق ينظرون جميعا كيف أبني قواعد المجد وحدي وبناة الأغرام في سالف الدهر كفون الكلام عند التحدي أنا تاج العناء في مفرق الشرق وتراثه فرايد عزبي.